All right, so one more minute. Oh, okay, there we go. Courtney, Summer's not here?
She is here, but she got hurt here.
She got what?
She got hurt her leg again. Oh no.
Now that makes me feel bad.
Aiden, Alexis, Robert.
Hers is real.
Tristan,
Everybody else isn't. So.
Tony,
Yeah. I do.
Ayla, Rachel, Michael, Julia. Okay.
All right,
Front and center. So this is Mr. Hirsch. Okay? He served in Vietnam. He's going to introduce himself, talk to you guys a little bit. Don't try anything with him because he's armed. Just kidding. He's not. But still don't try.
I get two of them.
Yeah. 2 more. Okay. So we're going to start. He's going to give a little spiel about himself, what he does, how he got involved. Then we're going to go look at that table. And then we'll go to the fun table. And then we'll come back and really sit and you guys can ask him your questions at that point. Okay? So, a little bit here, then there, then there, then back here for group discussion. Okay? And go.
Okay. Bill Hirsch. I was with the Army in October of 1968. It was a few months I graduated from high school in May of '68. And by July 15th of 1969, I was in Vietnam. So a year and a couple months after I graduated from high school, I was in combat. And I went through basic training, which is 8 weeks at that time now. 8 weeks with a 0 week. So we thought we were in basic training. We found out the first week didn't count. They called that 0 week. We got haircuts, we got shots, all of our records were updated, we got uniforms and all that stuff. And then after that week, then we started basic training, which was a whole lot different. And we spent 8 weeks doing that, drill and ceremony, learning about the Army, being able to walk without stumbling over your feet, going through the gas chamber, qualification with weapons, and all that. And then after that, I went to advanced individual training. And for me, it was advanced infantry training. And that was 10 weeks. And we did a lot of marching, a lot of walking, a lot of carrying rucksacks, a lot more weapons training, hand-to-hand combat training, survival training. We had one course where we went out there, they taught us how to catch the chickens, kill them without using any tools, got them out, anything like that, how to cook them. And then we also had another thing where they wanted to show us that we could survive on things that we would normally not eat. They gave us night crawlers. And they helped us out with that because they made, cracked some eggs, scrambled the eggs, and then put the worms in the eggs, and we ate them that way. And one of the biggest things they told us is 100% protein, so it will keep you alive. But do not chew them. They do not taste good. You just swallow them whole, and some of the bugs and stuff like that, and they showed us which ones to eat that wouldn't kill you. And most of them, of course, you eat raw, and you just swallow them. But that was part of the training on how to stay alive if you got separated from your unit, and you had to be completely on your own. Then after that, after AIT infantry, I went to jump school, Fort Benning, Georgia. That was 3 weeks of parachute training, ground training the first week, tower training where they pull you up in a parachute hooked to a ring, and they pull you up 250 feet. And then you hang up there for a while, and then when they get tired or bored, they push a thing and you fall. And then the parachute will re-inflate and you'll float down to the ground, hopefully with the parachute deployed. Otherwise you come down a lot quicker. And then the third week was jump week. We jumped twice in the morning on a Monday, twice on Tuesday, once on Wednesday, and graduated Wednesday afternoon. They do it that way so that in case storms come up or bad weather or whatever, you'll get your jumps in and still be able to qualify by the end of the week. So if they had to go, they had a Thursday and a Friday they could jump you on. But we went, my first 5 jumps was out of a Korean War C-119 twin-engine aircraft. The movie came out and enjoyed like that together. I'd seen them in pictures, never seen them for real. And they were with old aircraft that were used during the Korean War, 1950 to 53. And with National Guard pilots who were flying to get your qualification time in, which didn't do much for our confidence. And also, my first 2 jumps was on April the 1st, April Fool's Day. And we kind of felt like one too. And then after that, went on leave, and then was deployed to Vietnam. I got to Vietnam in about July the 15th of 1969, and was assigned to Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, the 503rd Parachute Infantry Regiment, 173rd Airborne Brigade Separate. And then I spent the next year, 12 months, walking around in the jungle looking for people. And when I was back, they sent us to different doctors. One was a psychiatrist and a civilian psychiatrist, and he asked me, he says, what was your job? What did you do in Vietnam? And I said, well, I hunted. And he looked at me real, complex there, just flabbergasted. He goes, what did you hunt? I just looked at him and said, men. That was our job. We hunted men, we found them, we either captured them or killed them. And so I did that for a year, and then I came back in July of 1970, was on leave, and then went to the 82nd Airborne Division, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, spent 13 and a half months practicing what I had done for real the previous year. So, I guess that's about it. Do you have any questions, or you want to go over there to that table?
Yeah, let's do that, and then go over there, and then we'll do questions.
All right. Now, this is the uniform I wore when I got out in, what was it, October of 71.
Okay, so everybody come over here. This is my favorite piece. Here, show them where you wore it at.
Oh, thank you. We had jungle fatigues, pants like this. They had these pockets on the side. I put it down here. Now this pocket is way lower. The other one was about up to here with the jungle fatigues. And I used this finger, put that underneath there, and it pulled right up. So when I was sitting up, when I was sitting up
Bailey
there,
Benshaw of
you
Page
grab it,
Dale, please
with
come
the
to the
finger,
office.
it pops right up in your hand. So it was really easy and to get up and, and ready to deploy. And I carried this for a year over there.
Okay. So you guys can pass that around, be responsible with it, but you can pass it around.
And I have intentionally dulled it so nobody would cut themselves on it. And when I first came back, everybody took it and went like that and put their hands open. So I dulled it and always left it that way.
Anybody know what this is?
Is that a shell casing?
You were the closest.
Shell casing. Wait, is it?
Is it actually chapstick?
Not quite.
It's lip. Beeswax.
Camouflage paint.
Camouflage paint.
I think now it's good.
This is actually what. How was that close to chopstick? Well, because it wasn't bullets.
Yeah.
That stuff is really hard, and when you put it on, it just pulled on your skin and stuff. But they made it like that so it wouldn't melt. A lot of the guys would
No, I don't care.
write home and have their parents or dads send us some of the camouflage paint that deer hunters use for bow hunting, and it was a lot softer and a lot nicer. We used that.
Yeah, so here's the can opener.
Oh yeah,
They would be
you
issued.
can open that up if you want to show them.
Their rations.
P38, that's called.
Flip over. Does it flip over?
Yeah, it just opens up. You would starve to death.
Yep. Michael, you live out of this. Ladies, I think this is hilarious. This was like a magazine that came out at that time, but all the wives and women got to go and jump for a day. And so, oh, there's a line in here. Oh, there the child's mother dangled precariously from the harness in a simulated parachute, the suspension lines on her jump for equality and question marks, and then it says, husbands beware. So, little did they know, women would be in the military not too long after that.
Yeah, when I was in the paratroops, there were 0 women in the paratroops. None at all. We hardly ever saw a woman. And they had the WACs, the Women's Army Corps, and they did cooking and they did supply work and typing and stuff like that.
I'm not the only one who can't get it. Good.
Let's see if I can get it.
Maybe it might be old.
welded in there, it's, you know, it's 50 years old, there it
Yeah.
goes. There. You take that like that, and you can, you put that in there and just go like out around it, open up a sea ration can.
All the way around the edge.
Yep, all the way around. Sometimes you take the top off, sometimes you didn't. We changed the flavor of the stuff, because we got, you know, that's all we had. You take it, pull the lid down, set that over the fire, and kind of burn it, a little charcoal, and then we had hot sauce, so we dumped hot sauce and stuff like that. Just something to change the taste, because it's kind of monotonous, eating the same stuff all the time. The only reason we liked getting the sea rations was that they had canned fruit in them. You had peaches and fruit cocktail and all that kind of stuff, applesauce. And with the Lurps, the dehydrated food, you didn't get any of that. But the dehydrated food tasted a lot better. They had water, you heat the water up, so you had a hot meal. Tasted a lot better, and it weighed a lot less than those heavy cans did. But like I said, we liked the fruit too, so, you know, we carried a mixture of both of them.
All right.
Well, this is my boonie hat that I bought from the Vietnamese, and you might be able to see some of the coming apart. But right in here, you can see that was made from a sandbag, an army sandbag, and they just put this covering over it and sewed it together. But that was actually the main part of it. Around the rim and the top here is an army sandbag. So, you know, they were pretty ingenious. But at night is when we wore that. Couldn't wear it in the daytime, but we could wear it at night. That's when I graduated from jump school. It was just a picture they took of us. Sent home to the folks, you know. And that's about it, I guess.
Okay.
Did you iron all of these medals?
What's that?
Did you iron all of these medals?
Yeah.
Yep, those are all his. What else in here? I think that's it. This?
Oh, they give that to us when we were there. It's a waterproof thing. We put pictures and, you know, stuff like that in it, you know, keep it from getting wet because of the monsoon season.
Did you ever own the Purple Heart?
No. No, that was too short. Nothing my helmet like that, you know.
I'm staying behind everyone else.
Well,
Let me up.
I'd kneel down and they'd be towering over me, so they'd see those guys, so they'd shoot them. If they didn't shoot it, I'd point them out, you know.
All right, should we go to the fun part?
Okay. yeah.
I'm so excited for this part.
Oh.
You don't have to.
Oh, thank God, because I
Nobody has to.
wouldn't be able to lift it.
It's still your choice.
Me neither.
I feel like. Okay, so don't touch anything yet. Don't touch anything.
Yeah.
Just saying that.
Who is the big strong person that wants to be the practice one?
I'm not strong, but I
Tristan first. I saw Tristan stand first. Okay, come stand over here. Mr. Hirsch, you want to dress them up and then tell everybody what everything is? All right, you're doing it?
Yep, these are 30-round magazines that we have, you have 16 rounds in. First of all, you have to get ready by wearing, these are the jungle fatigue pants that I wore back from Vietnam. So, you get these on. What?
8 of them might fit in those?
Yeah, maybe.
Nicolina would fit
Tristan
those.
goes,
Nicolina.
These are what I wore back from Vietnam. I had like a 22-inch waist and a 38-inch chest, so. Well. We had one girl in the other class that was actually.
Nicolina. Yep,
Yeah.
Iggy got them on.
Yeah,
She is.
Well, she's literally this thin.
she's
Yeah.
like 2 pounds.
well, like that.
I could lift Nikki with probably with my big toe.
I can lift Nikki.
This is our LBE load bearing equipment. This is what we would put on first. This we carried all the time. The rucksack we carried when we were on our patrols or if we were moving big positions. Put this on,
Where do I put it at?
just right around that shoulder. And then this one goes in the front. Just buckle it there. Alright. There you go. Now we have magazines, these are actually M16 pouches, and they carry 3 30-round mags, which are these. We carry, for the most part, 20-round magazines. They had just come out with the 30-round ones Colt did toward the end of the war. But our standard issue was these. We carried 18 rounds in it. They're made for 20. We carried 18 in it because of spring tension. If you packed them down with 20 rounds, sometimes the spring would it'd freeze and it wouldn't come up. So you fire 1 or 2 rounds and then nothing. So for spring tension, so it would continue to feed, we packed them with 20 rounds. When we carried our rifle, we had one of these in, but we had 19 rounds. We had one in the chamber, and then 18 in the mag. And then we changed them out every morning. Because, you know, your life depended on it, so. How's that feel? Okay. Now, that would actually be heavier than it is right now, because the magazines aren't loaded, and there's a hand grenade go in here, and a smoke grenade would go in the back of each one. Now, that's good to practice, you know, pretend grenade in a baseball frag, M33. And we called them super frags because they were more powerful than our M26s, and we would yell out either baseball frag out or super frag out, which meant you get back a little bit farther because it's going to throw out more shrapnel a little bit farther than what the M26s did. Oh, jeez, forgot you shot bullet. You don't have to pass them that. These are M79 grenade rounds. We have an M79, we call it a thumper because of the noise it made, kind of went thump. And you load one in there, it's a single shot. You put it up, it would fire it out about, 250 meters, and then explode. It would rotate, and after 15 feet, it would arm itself. So when it hit, it would explode. So at, say, 100 meters, you hit a man, it would explode when it hit him. So what you wanted to do, though, you wanted to fire the round, so if they were coming toward you, it would land in front of them, because when the round hit, it blew up this way. So if they were running away from you, you shot right at their heels. So it would hit, it would blow up toward their back and their legs and stuff. So that's why you didn't want to hit them directly on. You just wanted to hit it so it would spread. And let's see, these are our bandoliers, and the ammunition came packed in these. We'd pull them out of the bandoliers, and then we'd load our magazines with it, put them back in here. There's 7 of these on here, and then that gave us 7 more magazines. I wore mine around my waist, one going this way and one from back around and tied in front. Then I had another bandolier of 7 more rounds in my rucksack that I laid up on top. Plus we had 4 in our M14 magazine pouches. We carried a total of 21 magazines loaded with at least 18 rounds each. And that was our basic load. Now we could carry any more if we wanted to. Sure, carry more. I carried that, and I carried in the rucksack, and then I carried either a demolition pack, or I carried 3 or 4 more frags, or you know, another bandolier of ammunition, depending on where we were going and what we were doing. But, okay, try the ruck on now. Just that arm goes around that way. Yep. And then this one goes on the other side. And that's not as heavy as what we carried, but we couldn't get the weight all the way distributed around there. Yeah, give him a hand there. Try to get that.
Ooh, tell them about the hill now.
Oh, well, these hills right out here, you start out at the bottom of it and walk up. Carrying that, or a little bit more than that. Plus you also have in your right hand a rifle.
Jeez.
And you have 15 minutes, you said?
Yeah,
About
15 minutes
to
to
get
get
to the
up
top of
there.
the hill.
Yep. And then we'll do other,
Yeah.
we'll do other things once you get up
Thinking.
there. But then once we get, I got my unit patch in the headband up there, and if we got into a firefight and killed several of them, somebody would always have an extra one. We'd pull that out and lay it on their body. That way it showed the NBA who they were fighting, and they should fear us, because they would end up the same way if they tangled with us. So that was just a little psychological fear thing we throw into them.
Okay. So now the other classes walked up and down the stairs. You want to try that? And then everyone went and watched.
So,
Come on.
Oh, you can do it, Tristan.
My practice.
Tristan and I to walk up and down the street.
I still can't believe I did all that crap.
I know.
Well, that's why my knees are like this.
Sure.
Yeah, I've had both of them replaced now, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
know, that's strange because my Uncle Gene had both of his knees replaced and a hip.